Hello, in this episode, I'd like to talk about the curse of perfectionism. Because I know many people who strive for being perfect and they're always striving, well, that's not perfect or it's not good enough. And because you can see that they've got a mindset, well, it has to be perfect. When in fact, that can have a very debilitating effect on the team and a very demotivating effect on the team. And I just want to cover some of those points. For example, it's an unachievable or unobtainable ideal. Perfectionism or perfect just doesn't exist. And what we need to think about is how if we've got a perfectionism mindset, we're actually setting ourselves up for failure because nothing will ever be perfect. Nothing will ever be good enough. And if you're the leader or manager of a team, your team will get demotivated because they know no matter what they do, no matter how good or how much effort they put in, it'll never be good enough. So we need to move away from that and shift from perfection to progressing towards, so that everything along the way is getting towards the ideal of what we want to achieve, moving in that direction, and that you're acknowledging what's going well and you're building on and giving feedback about what could become better. And then the next thing to recognize is that perfectionism is a creativity killer. And that's because we often, when we get into a perfectionist mindset, avoid risks because we're fearing mistakes and fearing failure. And what we need to do is move and shift from fearing failure to a growth mindset where there's always going to be things along the way that we can learn and grow from, knowing we haven't quite achieved our ideal yet. It's a progression towards, put in more effort, use a feedback loop, continuously get better, experiment, try new things, and move towards the ideal that we're seeking rather than seeking perfection. Because the trouble with perfection is even when you think you've got it, you'll always find something else that's not quite right. And that brings us to the final point where we get into a paralysis of perfectionism. And because we can never quite get it to be perfect, we find ourselves overthinking, and that leads to analysis paralysis where we don't actually get to freedom of thought around how we can make things better. We constantly ruminate on things that aren't good enough and figure out all the things that might not work or could not work or will not work. So what we need to do is shift where it's a mindset of excellence over perfectionism. So the idea is that we continue to grow and never let perfectionism get in the way of excellence. So when it comes to perfectionism, stay curious.